Welcome everybody to my podcast, Big Little Small Talk. I'm Megan O'Hara-Sullivan and I love to talk, but I also love to listen. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome listeners to my segment called Big Little Small Talk. I'm out in Pittsworth today as part of that segment that I've been doing over the last few months. It's called Give an F Over 50, where we talk mostly to women about all the things in their life that are happening that begin with F, like fun, food, finance, fitness, family, how they feel about things. So I'm out here today talking to the Women's Shed, which has reached a milestone of a year. And I'm with their president, I think. Glynn, you're their president. Welcome along, Glynn.
Thank you.
So, Glynn, we've got the Pittsworth Sentinel here, and it says that you've reached the yearly milestone of the shed starting up. Tell me about the beginnings of the shed.
Well, the beginning was that we used to go to the Toowoomba shed, and we thought, well, Jean and myself thought, well, they should have one out here somewhere, because there's a lot of women out here and out from Pittsworth that could do with some time to mix with other women and do a bit of sewing or knitting or something to, just to keep their hand in.
And where are we? Just describe where we're at the moment.
We're at the old soft drink factory, which originally was a cheese factory that turned into a drink factory, and now it's the little office in the front is our women's shed. So we are busting the seams and one day hopefully get into a lovely shed up at the Pioneer Village.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about the history of getting up to the Pioneer Village and what your plans are for that?
Well, we've had the shed donated to us and we're just between the council and the shed place. It should, we've been told, eventuate by about the end of the year. It'll be much bigger. People, we can spread out a little bit because it is pretty tight here. Yes, and there's a gentleman, his name's Trevor Saul, who has actually donated this building to us very generously, and it's to be named Pearl's Precinct, because that was his wife's name. She passed away about 18 months ago, and these two are well in their 90s, and she used to do a lot of sewing, and he respects that. He said that there's plenty for men, but not a lot for women, so this is why he's doing it for us.
Yeah, what an incredible story, and generosity too. I interviewed the people from the men's shed, and they're down at the moment floating their raft down the Murray River, which I don't know whether you have any updates on that, but
not yet, no.
Okay, so where does all the fabric come from, and the sewing machines, and all the need? Like, how do you know what to make?
Well, originally it was a little hard. Jean from the Toowoomba shed, as we're under her umbrella, has given us a lot of machines. We also have had machines donated to us as well. Got a few hidden away underneath the tables there, ready to go into the big shed, hopefully. The fabric, well, we just put it out there, and at first we thought, we're never going to get enough fabric, but we are overwhelmed with it. We actually had to move into the drink factory, into another room in there to sort out fabric in there.
And how do you know what the demand for things are? I know at the Toowoomba Women's Shed, and when we interviewed Jean, they were making a lot of fiddle mats for people with dementia and covers for wheelie walkers. What sort of things are you making?
We make about the same. We do what we were doing in there. We make children's clothes that go to the needy, we make baby bibs, and it's just an endless supply of stuff that we make.
And you were telling me before we started recording about a lady in Nambour who has a request of the things for you.
Yeah, there's one, the lady up there, it's called the Linus, and this girl, she lives out at Highfields, and Narelle's her name, and she comes and collects what we've got and what they need up there, and she goes into Jean as well and collects from there. So that all goes up there, and then it could go up to Northern Territory, up to North Queensland, out west for the farmers that are doing it tough. And then we also have other little little offlets, like we sent a whole package of stuff out to Gundawindi the other day, and I've just sent some stuff with a friend of mine who's going over to Fiji, and she's taken a bag full of stuff over for them over there. So,
what sort of things do they need in Fiji, as opposed to, say, I saw you had a lot of flannelette pyjamas here going to the kids out west? What specifically would they need in Fiji?
Well, she just came and got what she thought were like pencil cases and library bags, scrunchies, little things like that at this stage. So while she's there, she's going to get some contact numbers for us and addresses that we can send, like little summer clothes and things. That's what they'll probably need.
So, Glenn, are you the first president of the Pittsworth Women's Shed?
Yes, I am.
And is it a bit like everything else? Everyone took a step backwards and you were the one left standing there?
No, not quite. No. Jean and I were trying to plan this for a good year before we went ahead with it, because we were looking for a premises to be able to start. And I said to Graham Cook about wanting somewhere, and I said, what about the drink factory, can we sort of rent something off you? Well, we came down to a car show that was here, and Graham said, well, we've got the office, you can rent that office. So we did. That's what we said we'd do. Well, then the other girls have all followed in, so there's Ursula and myself and Gail, so we're the three that there's no bosses here. We don't want to be bosses, but we had to have like official names for bank accounts and things like that. So
even things like packing that package up to send out to Gundawindi, and I think you said it cost you $20 to post it out there. Who pays for that? Where does the money come from?
We pay for it. We pay for a lot of stuff like that. Our needles, our machines to be there. What's the name? And we hope machines to be serviced, I should say. And we hope that we can sell some stuff as well, which we do sell. We try not to encroach on the other shops in town, but we can sell a lot of clothing and different things to make money. We've had a couple of markets, so we do that, and we're having our birthday celebration next weekend, and we will sell what we can here, and we keep our price right down, just to make some money for paying these sort of things.
Tell me about the sale that you're going to have. Is that going to be here at the old Cook soft drink factory?
Yes, it's here next Sunday on the 4th. We've got a sausage sizzle, and we haven't got a lot of market stalls, but we've just got a few to make it, celebrate our birthday. And we've got some official people coming out, like Clive Burkhoff is coming out. I think someone from the council, but I'm not too sure who's coming out with there. We sent an invitation in there. But yeah, we'll have a few people here for that sort of thing. So, and we'll have raffles. We're selling some raffles. So,
Wonderful. Well, that will work in well with all the people that are going to Wordfest next weekend, and I'll run through some of the program that Lyndall Hill from Wordfest Toowoomba has got happening next weekend, because it's quite extensive. But as part of this series, Glenn, I've said that it's Give an F over 50, and it's all of your views on things for women, mostly over 50. So apart from the Women's Shed, what do you do for fun, Glenn?
The Women's Shed. No, I've got. I live by myself, and I've got my animals. I've got my chooks that keep me quite busy, and I did have a little puppy that passed away about 2 weeks ago, and she was nearly 12, and I miss her terribly. And I have a little cat, so the yard's quite big, so mowing and gardening, and I grow my own veggies and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it keeps me busy, and I find that quite rewarding.
That's your fun. What sort of time are you putting into the Women's Shed? How many days are you coming down here? It's a Saturday now.
Yeah, I come on a Saturday. I don't come very often during the week. The girls are here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I do a lot of sewing, knitting and crocheting at home, and then I bring that into here. I find there's a lot of people here, so it's easier for me to do it at home. And that's just the sort of person I am. I'll probably continue doing it at home, yeah.
And I suppose it's an obvious question, but the friendships that you're forming down here, are they people that you had been friends with in Pittsworth prior, or do you find it's a new group of people?
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. We get other people that come down, and on our Facebook page, a lot of people want to become members. And if you look up on the Facebook page, we've got about 800 and something members, but they don't all come here. They're from all over the place, you know. But we have got, I think, about 3 or 4 that actually have moved in here. That lady inside, Mary, she has just moved to Pittsworth, and she saw it on Facebook and she came down. So this is her first day down here doing anything. And we have another lovely girl who does a lot of knitting and crocheting and that. So, yeah, and it's a bit of both people.
Is it a wide range of ages, Glenn?
Not fully. We're probably, our youngest, she'd probably be in her 30s, so we go from our 30s, and I won't tell you how old I am, but it's over that, well over that. So, yeah.
And have you always been a resident of Pittsworth, or are you a newer resident here?
I've been here about 10 to 12 years, and I love it. I'm not going anywhere else. I came from the Gold Coast, and I don't think I'd ever go back there. It's too much of a rat race now. So
tell me about the circumstances of moving to Pittsworth 10 years ago.
The circumstances where it was getting very expensive on the coast. I used to have students, overseas students, come and stay, and then they'd go to university there, and then that got a bit down, you know, there wasn't that many coming, so I finding it very hard to live down there. My niece lives out at Brookstead, out that way. My daughter bought at Westbrook, and I thought, well, why not? I came up, I travelled up and down for quite a number of years seeing my nieces. And I thought, right, so this is how I came to come here. The rent's cheaper, that's for sure. So I love it, just love it.
Well, I always say if you're unhappy and you live in Pittsworth, there's something wrong, because there's a hell of a lot to do here. You touched on a little bit there about finances. What advice can you give me as a woman? I presume you're over 50. About finance, and how's your view on finances throughout your life? You mentioned that you're renting a house.
Yes, I rent because I did lose quite a lot of money over with marriages and that, but I just live on the pension, and I've gotten self-sufficient to a degree. You've just got a budget, that's it, big budget, and if you don't budget, you'll go downhill.
That's sage advice, I think, Glenn. That's fantastic. What about your views on fitness? What's your fitness regime?
I don't have a fitness. I just mow the lawn, and it's a big property. That's my fitness, up and down there and looking after the chooks and digging gardens and all that sort of stuff. That's my fitness. I don't go to gyms or anything.
What's your views on keeping your mental health fit?
Well, I'm hoping to keep it. Yeah, well, I think it's a bit of a struggle with your mental health. I think you just got to be active on your mind. I have a sister that's got dementia, and she's a lot younger than me, but she's never done anything. She doesn't knit, she doesn't crochet, she doesn't do anything as in her whole life. And I've always done that. I've always been a bit arty-farty and that sort of thing. And I think that's got a lot to do with your mind.
So keeping your hands busy and sort of that cognitive working out how to follow a pattern.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think that's essential, yes.
Yeah. I think that's, one of those things. I know that you're not a doctor, Glenn, but I'd reckon that that's probably a very, very sound advice. You mentioned that you've got a daughter. Do you have any other children?
Yes, I've got 4 children. Colin's the only one here. I've got one down on the northern New South Wales coast, down that way. I got one in Brisbane and another one up at Caboolture. So I've had 2 girls and 2 boys and 11 grandchildren.
Right, yeah, wonderful. I mean, that's answered the family question. If you were thinking about who your favourite royal might be, Glenn, what would you say? Well,
I don't really know a favourite, but I do like Harry. I think he's quite a cute little thing, and I wonder if he was hoodwinked into this marriage with Meghan, because my opinion, I don't know, it mightn't be everybody's opinion, but I feel that Harry was a very down-to-earth like his mother, maybe wanted a family, So he was a bit wild and woolly in his day, and I think we've all been a bit wild and woolly in our day. And I think Megan came along and she was a bit that way too, and I think that's how they come together. But whatever they do with the royal families, doesn't matter really. So,
would you call yourself a monarchist or a Republican?
neither.
You take an interest. Did you watch the coronation?
Bits and pieces, that's all, yeah.
What were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was lovely, actually. Camilla's got what she wanted in the very beginning, I think. But I know it's quite good, and I think they'll do an all right sort of job.
Are you in favour of Australia retaining the monarchy?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a guide, that they can do that. Here in Australia, I think sometimes you could sort of slip backwards a bit, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. And are you a dancing person,
No.
Glenn?
I have 2 left feet. No.
All right, well, I won't ask you the song that can't keep you off the dance floor. What about the song that can't keep you quiet if it comes on the radio and you're all by yourself and you're singing in the car?
Islands in the Stream by Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. I think it's beautiful.
Oh my goodness, Glenn, you and I are going to have to get married because that is my favourite song too. So that is terrific. Well, look, Glenn, I've got a couple of your colleagues to interview and get their views on giving an F over 50. But thank you so much for sharing some of your insights. It's been lovely to speak with you.
Same here, and thank you so much for coming out and having a look at our little venture out here.
Onwards and upwards for the Pittsworth Women's Shed, I say.
Definitely, definitely.
I'll just remind the listeners that you're with me, Megan O'Hara-Sullivan, and we're in that segment called Big Little Small Talk. Today I'm out talking to the women from the Pittsworth Women's Shed, and I have a second participant today, and her name is Ursula. Welcome to Big Little Small Talk, Ursula.
Thank you very much.
Now, we're sitting out here in the sun. You've come out from the Cook's soft drink factory where you come. How often do you come to the Women's Shed?
3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we have a couple of other ladies that come in each day, and we just all work as a team. And
what sort of things do you do? Are you a knitter? Are you a sewer?
I'm a sewer. As the saying goes. I like scrappy pieces of material, so I'm a scrappy sewer. I join all the scraps together and don't waste any of it.
How did you learn to sew?
Well, many years ago, my mother-in-law showed me how to make my children's pyjamas. And then after they grew up, I sort of stopped sewing because working full time and that. So after I retired, that would have been about 11 years ago, I thought, I'll get back into sewing. So I took a course in quilting and I went from there. Now you can't keep the machine away from me.
And what sort of things are you making here? Do you do quilts?
Yes, I do quilts. I don't do the free motion quilting, but I do the quilting, just the straight quilting. At the moment we're making library bags, we're making pencil cases. I make wheelie walker bags, drawstring bags, mostly swim bags, library bags, yes, and wheelie walker bags, wedge heel bags. So, and we do make lap quilts. So that's, there's a lot there. You just sort of keep sewing them because, we send them to the schools, and if they want their library bags, we'll do them. And Christmas bags we do, yeah. So we do quite a lot.
Ursula, you mentioned that you retired. What sort of work did you do?
I was a veterinary nurse. And so it's a big difference from sewing to the veterinary. Yeah, 25 years I did veterinary nursing, yes.
And are you a long-term Pittsworth resident?
No, I'm not. I'm only been here for 10 years. We lived in Townsville for nearly 40 years, and then we retired, and this is where we decided to come down, and we built a little granny flat, and we live here.
Tell me about the circumstances of coming to Pittsworth. Why Pittsworth?
Well, I wanted to leave Townsville because where I worked for so long, I would have had to go in and keep an eye on the nurses, what they were doing. So we needed to get out. And my son lives here, and he said, Mum, come down, build your little house, and you can live here with us. And that's the reason why we did. I was born and bred in Toowoomba. I lived in Toowoomba for 21 years, and then my husband joined the army, and then we got transferred. And I hadn't been back. And so we've made pretty well a full circle. in our life, in our working lifestyle.
You've come back where it all started. And do you sew for pleasure as well?
Oh yes, I do. Yes, I do sew for pleasure. Yeah, I enjoy. I sew most of my own quilts and that. If I see anything I like, I sew nice bags. Nice tote bags and that. Yes. Yeah.
Do you ever make any clothes anymore?
No, I don't make clothes anymore. No.
Is that because clothes are so cheap now?
That's exactly right. They are cheap, and you can't. By the time you buy your material and that, it just does not work. It does not work. And all my grandchildren are all my children are all growing up. My grandchildren are all growing up, and I've just got one great grandchild coming at the next month, and I don't think I'll be sewing for him either, because you can buy such beautiful clothes at the moment. So to me, that's how it works out.
Are you a knitter or a crocheter?
Well, I can knit and I can crochet, but not well.
Yeah. Because as you say, your great-grandchild, I think about all those beautiful little jumpers and those gorgeous little, particularly the royal family.
Oh, yes, that's one of the things, but I don't think I could do that anymore. I haven't got the patience and that, yes. Yeah.
Well, that's what sewing is. It's knowing where to put the bodice next to the something. And
right, and you go and pin them together and you'll find, oh, gee, one's longer than the other. Oh, I forgot to do the facing. I forgot to do this, No, I like to, my own mind, I like to learn different things. And once I've found out I can do it, I won't do it again, because I think, I can do that, so I won't worry about that now anymore. Yeah. So I like to learn new things, especially in sewing. I do. Yes.
What sort of new things are you learning in sewing?
Well, at the moment, I have a big thing of mitering corners, on quilts and that. And but then we have this lovely lady that comes in from Dalby, and she's a good sewer. She's a wonderful lady, and I just pound her with questions, asking, how are you doing this? And she showed me, so I can do it, those sort of things, and that. But a lot of the stuff I try to learn on my own, it's think, oh, yeah, that looks different. I'll see if I can do that. And then you get the pattern and figure it out, and yeah.
And tell me about the experience of coming to the Women's Shed. Have you ever been involved in anything like this before, like a group type activity?
Not in the sewing. I used to. I coached netball for many, many years, so I've sort of been in there. And being Townsville's such a big area, you're not sort of known. But if you come out to a country town like Pittsworth, everybody gets to know you, and I like to help the community, like I do my community work at the museum, I do that once a month, and if I can get involved, and this here is exactly what I want to do, just donating, making stuff, donating and giving to people and seeing their faces when you give them. Because the reason why is I've got that many quilts, and what I do at home, at my age, I don't need to cut in my house. I'd rather sew for other people and get them to enjoy what's been made for them, And
I was explaining to Glenn that I'm doing some of these interviews as a part of a series called Give an F Over 50, and it's part of the Wordfest Toowoomba, which is run by Lyndall Hill. It's all on next weekend, and there's lots and lots of things on offer for writers and readers and people who love literature and Bookfest. And part of it is about women over 50 and what do they give an F about. So fun. Ursula, what's fun for you?
Fun for me is coming in here. I bust my little full vowels getting in here every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I make sure it's all nice and clean. I make sure the machines are all set up for the girls, because I don't like them to come in and find that the machine's not working. And then we can sew, we laugh, we tell jokes, we solve the problems of the world, and it's just wonderful, And I feel if you can give that to the people who come here, the word spreads, and it's fun. You're not getting ordered to do this or ordered to do that. You just do, and they'll all yell, Ursula, my machine's not working. Okay, I'll be there in a moment. But that's the sort of thing I love doing. Yeah.
You mentioned that you coached netball for a long time. Tell me about your views on fitness now.
Fitness. I still do fitness. I do my fitness. I do exercises every day. Go to gym every day. Yeah, I do that. I believe in fitness, and sometimes it makes me angry when you see children, not walking around with their phones and that. But I make sure at my age I need to keep up my fitness and watch what I eat and still enjoy my life.
What does going to the gym involve?
Well, I do my boot camp, every Monday morning, 5:30. I do my I have a personal an instructor that I do to go to every Tuesday at 6:45, and that's a half-hour full-on exercise. Wednesday I'm having a day of rest. Thursday I go to another boot camp, but that's not at 9 o'clock. Friday I go to gymstick, which is 9:15. That's another exercise. Saturday, today I have off, but Sundays there's a group of our ladies that walk nearly 10 kilometres every Sunday, and that's my week. But once I've done that all in the morning, my day works out beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. Is that, I would say, fairly full-on fitness regime? Is that for your physical health and or your mental health?
Both physical and mental, especially mental, because if I don't do that, I don't work well. I need to, I need to take like one day at a time. Like that's what we've been, because as my husband has had cancer, is still getting, and I think, no, we've got to take one day at a time. And then every day you wake up, you think, well, I'm going to do this today, and I've done my exercise, and off we go. Don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes, I always tell the story about my mum, and she'd be quite a lot older than you, Ursula, but she used to say fitness or exercise was not a part of her era, and she used to say if she saw someone running down the street, she thought that they'd committed a crime and were running away from something. Yes. So have you always been really committed to your fitness?
Yes, ever since school. I've always been, like, I was a top runner in my school, those sort of things, being involved in that. Because when I got married, I wasn't doing much because I had the children, and then we went to Singapore and on a posting. That's the first posting, and I went around and I put a sign up down at the general store and said and I started up a netball club, and so it's always been. And coming back to Brisbane, I was involved in the netball there. We got to Townsville. I'm a life member in Townsville because we've been so. And I've always been playing. All my children, my two girls were playing, and my two girls. One girl doesn't anymore, but my other daughter and my granddaughter, they're all involved in netball down in Brisbane. So it's sort of, and I think if you do it as with your children, your children's going to be doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Even my two sons were playing, always into sport. So I think.
Are we talking GD? Are we talking GA?
Well, mostly GA or GD,
You got the height for it, Ursula?
Yep, I have. And the determination. And whoever said it was a non-contact sport, because it's not.
All right, we're fairly clear on the fitness. What advice would you give listeners about finance over 50?
Oh, finance over 50. Oh, well, we're on the pension, but we sort of just live a simple life. You don't have to go out and keep buying shoes and clothes and that. As long as you've got some food in you can only wear so many clothes. You just just watch what you're doing. And that's what we do.
In your marriage, you've been married for a very long time.
56 years.
Is there one of you who looks after the finances more?
Well, I used to always look after the finances, always, and did all the groceries and did the cooking and that sort of thing. And my husband, he likes to cook and that because he was in the army for 25 years, so I lived half of ours with him being away all the time, bringing up the children. But now, since we've retired and that, and we've started up this, so I said, now, darling, you can be the person who, because I have a budget for each week, I said, I'll draw out the budget money, that's yours. Now you got to buy the groceries. And he's quite happy to do that. And he does all the cooking too. So he's quite happy.
Has he suddenly become the big expert, though?
Oh, he's always been an expert. You put the kettle on, and Dale, that's not the right plate to put the kettle on. You may have to, so I just walk away, so you can do it, love.
It's a cross for our own back if we say that they're not doing it properly. If they're doing it at all, and that's good.
He does. And and he goes and buys. He'll go and do the groceries, the shopping, and that. And that's because he writes the list, and he's very, very good. He sticks to that list. Not me. I buy different things. That's why we're saving money at the moment.
Yes, very clever. I would say very clever.
He does. He's very good.
And you've mentioned your family a couple of times. Family, I would imagine, is very important to you.
Oh yeah, family. Yeah, all the kids, all my kids are very, very, very important. Very important. My grandkids are so important. They're all different types of people, but they're all ours. And we've just. It's funny you should say that. We've just. We knew we had our first grandchild. This is a beautiful story. He. When he was born, we weren't allowed to see him, and my eldest son wasn't, and it was they weren't married, but it was anyhow. So they left. We'd never seen our first grandson until because my sister-in-law took a DNA for ancestry, and this Joel's been looking for his father for so long because my eldest son's not on any Facebook or anything, and anyhow he took a DNA test through ancestry and figured it out, and it got to my sister-in-law, and we found him 29 years later.
Wow.
And he's out, we met him, been up to Hervey Bay, and they live in Perth, though, they don't live in, and that's what I mean. Now we've missed, I keep saying to the ladies here, that's our missing link in our family, and now we're all together now, yeah.
You feel like the chain's been completed?
Oh, the chain has been completed, yes.
What a brilliant story. How long ago was that?
That was only this year, yep. Gary's, that was Gary's sister she had the DNA test, rang up Gary, and Gary said, oh, that's right, so Joel got Gary's phone number, and then in the middle of Woolworths, Gary was doing the shopping, and Joel happens to ring up and want to talk to, and he was so happy when he comes down here and says, Darla, I've just spoken to Joel. I said, it's lovely. So he said, so he gave him David, that's his father's phone number, and he was able to ring up, like when you want to ring up and talk to your dad, you talk to. Anyhow, David was home late one night, and I said, where have you been, David? And I said, oh, Mum, Joel rang up. He said, and they just hit it off like that. Yeah, it's so wonderful.
Yeah, my prediction, Ursula, with the DNA, the testing, and the ancestry, there's a few skeletons coming out of the closets in everybody's families, I think.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But we wouldn't have known, only because Gary's sister had to, because she's doing the O'Brien. Because they're quite a big family, a big O'Brien, thing, and that's why she took the DNA. So if anybody come and that's how it worked, and it worked properly.
It worked how it should.
And I loved it. And Joel, I don't know, he just keeps saying it. When we were at Hervey Bay for Easter, when I first met him, and that. Oh, and he kept going, oh, Grandma. I think he loved the word Grandma all the time, because he said the only sibling he knows was his mother and his eldest brother, which had nothing to do with us. He said that's. And I said, you want siblings? You'll have siblings.
Here we are. The gumboils are coming. Ursula, I have so enjoyed our time together on Big Little Small Talk. I'm going to wrap it up. I want to ask you a question. Who's your favourite royal?
My favourite royal? I'd say Catherine, yes, yeah. I always like to see what they're doing.
What do you love about Kate?
I don't know. It's the way she presents herself, and the way that she carries herself, and the way you're talking and that. I think that's probably the reason why.
Are you secretly admiring those clothes and how well made they are?
Well, I don't take much notice of clothes. I just like the way the person presents themselves, and that's the same with me, with anybody, I don't. It's not my job to criticise how they look and that. And as I always say, if they want to talk about me, they talk about me. What I don't know don't hurt me. That's their problem.
Good way to live a life, I'd suggest. Yes, All right, now I would imagine that you would be a dancing girl. So what's the song that can't keep you off the dance floor?
Oh, gee. There's one song that I really, really love. You Raise Me Up. I love that song. That is one of the... Every time I hear that, I cry. I do raise that, The other song Footloose.
I saw Footloose in the cinemas, I think in the 80s, and there were people dancing in the aisle.
Yes. That's, because I used to always be dancing. Oh, Mrs. Obie's up again dancing.
What a lovely story. Ursula, thank you for giving me the time today to talk about the Women's Shed, and also to tell me about all the things that you give an F over 50.
It's good, and I'm very glad I am the age I am today. Beautiful.
I'll just remind the listeners that they're on 102.7 FM and you're with me, Megan O'Hara-Sullivan, and we're on Big Little Small Talk. We're out in Pittsworth talking to the ladies at the Pittsworth Women's Shed. And my third guest today is a lady called Gail, who is sitting here in a sequined hat, a cap, red sequined hat that goes with her outfit. Welcome, Gail, to Big Little Small Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, Megan.
Tell me about why you're wearing a red sequined hat on a Saturday in the middle of May, end of May.
It's really because my hair is a mess and I need a haircut, so I'm covering my head.
Who cuts your hair?
My daughter.
And why won't your daughter cut your hair?
Well, she's moving house and this weekend she's babysitting, so I think I'm booked in for next Friday.
You have to wait, even though you're family. What's the Pittsworth Women's Shed mean to you, Gail?
It means that I can get out away from home and do what I love doing, because I was a seamstress since I left school and I just love it. I love making clothes and things, and now that it's going to charity, it's even better.
You said that you're a seamstress. What sort of things did you do? You did stuff for money, obviously.
Yeah, as soon as I left school, I started at the Infantine Clothing Factory in Beenleigh, which it doesn't exist now. But I started from the very beginning, cutting threads, then sewing, buttons, hemming, that sort of thing, and then they put me on the sewing machine. And that's where you end up with your own team.
And what sort of things were you making there?
Very, very different to today, because they were little children's and they had the frills. There was frills everywhere, and you had to make a tulle petticoat, so all that sort of thing. And at the time it was lovely, but gee whiz, I don't know whether I'd do it today.
So all this handmade stuff, and so it's not obviously like factory production.
Yeah, it is. Yes, they had cutters, and they would give you a bundle of, say, 20 or 30, and you would just finish them all up, and if you finished them before time, you would get a bonus.
And that sort of high-level production, that didn't ever put you off sewing?
No, because when I got married and we moved to Gundawindi, and I worked at the high school cleaning, and then Gundawindi Cotton started up, so I went over to them then.
And what were you doing for them, Gail?
Sewing their shirts.
Right.
Yeah, we made all the polo shirts and all that sort of thing, and then they decided to go overseas because we girls weren't quick enough to get all the demand out.
Right. How many days a week do you come to the Pittsworth Women's Shed?
At the moment, because we've just been donated lots and lots of material, so Mandy and I have been going through in our little sorting room and sorting out what's good and what we can't use, and then we give what we can't use to any of the, like, Boaraba second-hand shops and that sort of thing. So I'm here probably twice a week, but we're almost finished, so that'll be the end of that. So I'll just come my usual Monday and sew at home.
What other things do you do in terms of your networks in Pittsworth? We're talking today about a series for what is called Wordfest, which is a literary festival held next weekend in Toowoomba by a lady called Lyndall Hill, who's also been a guest here on Big Little Small Talk. And it's all about giving an F over 50 for women. What do they give an F over 50 about? So your friendship networks, tell me about that.
Friendship, well, you get lots of friendship from here at the shed, and I also am volunteer curator up at the TRC Pioneer Village, so you get to know a lot of people. You don't get to know them because they're in and out, our visitors and that, but it's lovely just to meet them and see where they've come from and what they do, and it's just a friendly atmosphere. There's it's just way too friendly. Way too friendly sometimes. Yeah, you get some of these old gentlemen and they come and give you a hug and, that was beautiful, lovey, and all this sort of thing.
You mentioned that coming to the shed, obviously going up to the historical village, gets you away from home. Who's at home?
My husband, he's not well. He's got a muscle disease, which they can't cure. And he's just been told that they can't do any more for him. So, that it gets me out away from that environment for a while.
Have you been a long-term resident in Pittsworth, Gail?
No, we're in Gundawindi for 35 years. Then we came here to retire, but I don't know, I think I'm busier. But it's really good with my husband being ill because we get all the help we need.
See all the advantages of living in a small town.
It is.
Yeah. What about food for you? What does sort of food represent in your life? Are you sick of cooking, or you love food, or...?
Well, at the moment, because of my husband, he can't swallow, so everything, he calls it sloppy food. But, everything's got to be pureed and that sort of thing. But I can have my own, whatever I want now, and if he doesn't like it, well, I'm not worried about what he's got because he's got his own food. Yeah.
All right, so you're saying like you used to cook in the old days and he might have been a bit critical of it?
No, he wasn't critical, but it was always steak and vegetables every night. There was no variety in our menu.
Okay, so we're not having steak and vegetables for Gail. What are you eating?
Oh, I love light and easy, but at the moment I only get it from my GA, because I can't afford to get, it delivered. But I've always liked light and easy. And any of the meals, the frozen meals, if I feel like it. Otherwise, I just have a salad or, it's very easy now.
Yeah. Are you concerned about things like, I want to talk about finances. So who in your family looks after the finances?
Me. Yeah, because if there was a bill to be paid, no, it wouldn't get paid. No. Yeah. And we're very lucky that everything that Barry needs, he gets under a care package, so we're very lucky there that not a lot of, we have to pay for now, so it's good.
Not because your husband's unwell, but part of my question is about, in terms of finance, whether women over 50 have their wills in order, whether you have a medical directive, that sort of thing. Is that something that you and your husband have spoken about?
Yeah, it's all done. It's all fixed.
Or you will? What about the medical directive?
He's done his, but I haven't done mine, which I know I have to, but, making an hour appointment to get it done is a bit difficult at the moment.
You're too busy, I think. That's the problem. What about family for you, Gail?
Family, I've got a son and a daughter, and they look after us really well. But they've got their own lives too, so, I don't like calling on them too much. Yeah, but they, if we needed them, they'd be there like a shot.
Well, we know that they'll cut your hair when you need it, as long as you're prepared to wait. What about grandchildren?
Yes, I've got, 1, 2, 3, 5. One's overseas. He got married over there and lives over there now. And I've got 2 others that are living at Ipswich.
Any great-grandies?
Oh, yeah, I've got 3. Yes.
What's the feeling like when you hold a great-grandchild?
Oh, it's just beautiful. It really is. There's just something about them. You can have your own children and they're beautiful. The grandchildren, yes, but there's just something about the great-grandchildren. You don't really want to hand them back.
That's so interesting. I haven't got any grandchildren at the moment, and I wonder what that feels like. But that's just lovely to hear that there. I wondered whether once you got down to great-grandchildren, whether you almost felt a disconnection.
No. No, we'd love to see them a lot more, but, because the distance and everything, travelling and...
What do the great-grandchildren call you?
Ma.
And is that what the grandchildren call you?
Yes. So my daughter is Mama. Yeah, so they just added another Ma onto her.
Not too complicated. All right, Gail, I've run out of time, unfortunately, but I wish I had more time. The Royals. Are you a Royal fan?
Yes, I am.
Oh, woman after my own heart. Who's your favourite Royal?
William and Kate.
Tell me more about that.
Oh, I just think that they would be, I probably will never see it, but I just think that they're made to be king and queen.
In what sense? Why?
It's just the way they hold themselves, how they connect with people. Charles he's all right, but I don't think he's cut out for it. I really don't. They reckon he's had all this time to prepare, but I don't know.
He doesn't have the warmth of Kate and Will's, you think?
No. And poor Camilla, well, she just hasn't got it.
All right. Are you a dancing person, Gail? If I asked you for the song that couldn't keep you off the dance floor, can you think of what it'd be?
Not now. No, I used to go to all the waltz dances, all the dances in the barns and the halls and that sort of thing, where they'd come and ask you up for a dance and not anymore, no.
Not dancing anymore? What about if you were going to sing out loud in the shower?
No, I don't have a favourite.
All right. You like all sorts of music?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Oh, it's probably, the ones way back that I grew up with, was a teenager with, but yeah, as far as any, no, I don't have any favourites.
Gail, it's just a shame that we've run out of time, but thank you for sharing your insights on giving an F over 50. I'm sure that will, some of those will go down in the ledger of some of the sage advice that I've been given, and I thank you for being my guest on Big Little Small Talk.
That's fine. Thank you very much for coming out and seeing what we've got out here.
So listeners, I've been talking a fair bit about Wordfest next weekend, which is an offering for all the people of the Toowoomba region. It's all about writers and readers and words and literature and bookish type of pursuits. I'd just like to give you a little bit of a rundown on what the program is, and you can get onto Facebook and see some of the incredible events that are being organised. So next Thursday the 1st is a literary lunch with Nikki Mottram, who's the author of the historical crime novel called Crow's Nest, and it's all about a small town and big secrets. So that's a literary lunch next Thursday. On Friday there's the poetry slam, and I think this sounds like so much fun. There's a 3-minute time limit in normal sort of poetry slam. There is actually a $350 first prize and a $100 runner-up prize, so I think that sounds like a lot of fun. Saturday, we've got Ask an Artist at the Toowoomba Regional Gallery. There'll be a panel of artists, including Anna Battle, who's a very well-known artist here on the Downs. So Ask an Artist, that sounds like fun. On Sunday, there's another event, incredible sort of lineup for this one. This is at the Toowoomba Regional Library Community Rooms, and it's called Warm Words Workshop and Author Talks. Now there's 12 authors in 3 different rooms, I think. Just some of the people that'll be there are Tom Allen. His session is called Short Story Secrets to Success. We've got Sophie Masson, The Way to Successful Children's Book Writing. And this other one I love, which sounds really interesting, it's Lizzie Cook-Long, and her session is Words on Skin, Tattoos and Their Messages. So that sounds like a lot of fun. But 12 authors and artists in total in 3 different rooms, 4 different sessions, can go along there at the Toowoomba Library. So all part of the incredible festival called Wordfest, which is on in Toowoomba next weekend. Lyndall Hill, who's also been interviewed here on Big Little Small Talk, is the organiser of that, and she's done an incredible job. And this Big Little Small Talk today is part of her series called Women Who Give an F over 50. So that's it from me, listeners. Thank you for being with me today, and I look forward to speaking with you next week for Big Little Small Talk. That's it for this week. Thanks for joining me on Big Little Small Talk. I hope you can make the time to join me next week. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favourite podcast app.